Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. Yet another paint rescue. And the car chosen today is a fun little car. I think it looks cool. And it drives pretty neat as well. It is a little two-seater and it has the typical 3.2 liter V6. If that sounds familiar, we're going to get to that. This was conceived during the merger of Daimler Chrysler, and it was designed and produced by Carmen of Germany. It's basically a Chrysler on top of an SLK chassis and frame. So along with the fun nimbleness of the SLK came along the problems as well. So this car ran from 2004 to 2008. Again, I think it is so neat and I want to see it restored. This paint is in absolute horrible shape, from scratches to nicks to love marks and swirls to fading paint and peeling clear. And we are going to work together and rescue the paint of this car the best we can. We're going to be doing some wet sanding, polishing, maybe respraying, wrapping, anything to make it look better. The headlights need to be restored, so there is a lot to cover in this video. So we're going to do a quick walk around. I want to show you all the problems we will be up against with this machine, and we'll get this rolling. The shop manager, well, not quite as enthused as I may be. A lot to take in. This is a 2004 Chrysler Crossfire, little two-seater. The front end quite a bit longer than the rear. We're going to start off with the headlight restoration. That has to be done. Safety at nighttime, and it just looks god-awful like that. The next thing, without the swirl finder, I know you can see all of the swirls and love marks and scratches, and it's just faded. There's hardly any reflection whatsoever. A lot of chips. Those were just quickly filled in. We'll remove some of that. On the front bumper, we have fading and a little bit of clear coat peeling. We could try a couple different things there. We could try a faux clear coat like Pappy's Patina or Optimum's Clear Coat Restorer, or even Turtle Wax has a product as well. We could try one or all and see how they work. Coming around the side of the vehicle, just more scratching and fading. Up top here, faded to the point there's hardly any reflection whatsoever. Lots of scratches up top there. As we come down the back, the sun has really done a number on these areas back here. We'll do a little color sanding and see what type of restoration we can get with this paint. We can blend this in a little bit. No body work really, just needs to be sanded and resprayed if we can't restore it. Up top here, peeling off clear coat and paint. We'll just strip this completely and either respray it or wrap it. No big deal. A little bit of the failure on top of the bumper. Some more clear coat restoring. We'll polish out the taillights, but I really like the back of this with the active wing, and you could just press a button and keep this up as well. Really neat design. You either love this or hate it. On the gas cap, more fading. We have paint chipping off here. We can respray that. These here, we can either take down and smooth them out and wrap them. They're plastic, or just replace them. They're not crazy expensive, so we can do either or. Let me know down in the comment section if you have ideas you would like to see me perform on it. Take it into consideration. Lots of scratches. A scratch that had a pretty bad attempt to fill it in. We'll do it correctly and see how we can turn this around. We're going to get some numbers in just a few short seconds here of where we start with gloss and how much paint we have to work with, how much clear coat. So we're starting out high 70s, low 80s. Yeah. Not great. Up here is going to be terrible. Five. So that'll give you an idea, the starting point. And as usual, we want to end up somewhere in the triple digits or close to it. I'd be happy with the high 90s at this point. Now time to check paint depth. How much do we have to work with? How much can we shave? Is this going to be a multi-step? Can we color sand? I mean, that's quite normal for the wear and tear. Let's get the fender. Pretty consistent so far. Now we're getting a little low. Have to be careful there. Have a little bit to work with there. That's getting low again. We're going to pretend we didn't see that one. That's pretty low. And there's some hefty scratches to take care of on this side. So we'll really have to be careful. So this is going to be fun. 3.9 and 4. Some of the panels have some depth to work with. We have to really be careful. Some of the panels, especially the roof, and that's where the sun really beats down on this car. We have to be careful, and we have to make as much improvement as we can without removing a ton of material, and that will be our goal. So the game plan for this vehicle is to, well, just jump right into it, dive right into it. And that's going to start with the messiest parts of the correction, the headlight restoration, shaving off the failed layer from factory that yellowed. It's going to be running down the vehicle. We'll have to give it a second bath. Areas like this where we're going to be doing some color sanding here and here and here. Areas like this that we're going to strip completely and make perfectly smooth to either respray or wrap. Here as well. Gas cap. Mirror. Those areas will be tackled first. These can be, and I already did take a look at these, they can be popped off rather quickly. We'll take care of this separate. That's plastic, and we'll either replace or smooth them out and wrap them. But that is going to be what we will attack first, headlights and then the color sanding. Give it a second bath and then start with the paint correction. All we need, 800 grit sandpaper, and well, we do wet sanding here at the shop, so a little bit of water. And we're going to shave away the oxidized failed layer from factory and get it perfectly clear, polished, smooth, and protected. Before I hop down on the stool and get started, let me share the rest of the vehicle with you under the hood, the interior, the back hatch. The trunk hatch area will always tell you a good story about the vehicle. we have 2 tires here. Well, it needs 2 front tires. There are other parts laying down in here, and it's always a concern if you see empty oil containers or coolant containers or any fluids whatsoever, brake fluid. Like I said, this area back here or behind the front seats tells a good story about what you're working on. 2, the headlight restoration, and I want to lay down some tape, the surrounding areas, so my sanding disc or sanding sheet does not bump up against the paint and scuff it, and add more work to our correction, or even the backing plate and the edge of the pad when it's time to polish. We're not taping as if we're going to paint the vehicle. We're just throwing down some tape quickly around the surrounding areas of the headlight. And now, obviously, we just sand away until the oxidized top layer of the factory film or factory coating that they have on these headlights is removed, and it's once again clear. Occasionally you want to flush the area you're sanding and the sandpaper as well. That all gets clogged up and really removes the efficiency of the tool you're using. And it also gives you a chance to look at the area you're working on and see if you've gone far enough. That will do it. This is what it looks like after that step, and the yellowing is completely gone compared to the other side. Once this is polished, it will be crystal clear. From here you can use the rotary, you can use a dual action polisher, orbital polisher of your choice, pad of your choice. Medium foam polish pad or microfiber 50/50 pad, they work perfectly well. Throughout the video, and the purpose of the video is to show you what works for different situations. So you will see me switching up pads and polishers and correction fluids and sandpapers and everything I use. I will give you many examples as to which will work for you. You can do all of this at home. much better. But in this situation today, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be nice and clear, because we are going to protect it with paint protection film, which is pretty much the ultimate UV protection, along with protection against rock chips. You can do whatever type of protection you'd like. A polymer sealant, a wax, a ceramic coating's even better. Even better than that would be respray the headlight with 2K or diamond coat, and that is also a non-yellowing clear. I'm not going to fire up the plotter today. They do make patterns to fit perfectly on these headlights, but I have so much scrap laying around, we're just going to bulk it, meaning we're going to freehand. Get it on the headlight, trim it, and tuck the edges by hand. After giving the film a little bit of time to dry, especially towards the edges, now we can trim. Pull away the excess, and you have a fully protected and restored lens. So with the PPF knife, all you want to do is score the film at the edge, and then you can tear away the excess. And yes, this isn't for the timid. When I first started doing PPF, it took about 26 Yingling lagers to relax the nerves enough to attempt to score the film without cutting into the material below. In this case, a headlight. In some cases, paint. So what you want is to hear a faint squeaking sound like a little mouse, and that will give you a good idea that you are just scoring the film and not cutting all the way through to the material below. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but that's what you want. And a good way to practice is to lay the film on a junk panel and just keep cutting little strips, peeling it away, and keep doing that until you see that you're not cutting into the material below. In the case of a junk panel, it would be clear coat or a single stage. Takes a little bit of time to get used to. Okay. Now we just carefully lift up an edge and start to pull away from where we did slicing into the film. And that will tear away the rest of it. Here I wasn't deep enough into the film, so it's not tearing away, and we just have to get a little bit deeper. And there we go. Then we can grab the squeegee. Push out any moisture on the edge. Follow up with a towel and push that moisture to the edge, and the towel will soak it up into the material. Go all the way around, and you are done. Headlight, stored and protected for years. The film has a 10-year warranty for yellowing, cracking, crow's feet, defects in the film. Now we just need to do the other side, and we're finished with that. Now it's going to take a little bit more time for the moisture that we used, or the slip solution, to put the film down to dry out. Then it clears up even more. And to me, that already made a huge difference. Now look. And now we can move on. Now we're going to move on to another very bad area. And we're going to smooth this out, this whole plate here. And we'll just smooth it out and either respray it, but more than likely wrap it with gloss black. Okay, now the idea, course of action, buzz this down with 320. Real quick, just to smooth out the edges. And since this type of work is getting things smooth and it's hard to see when you're making all kinds of residue, take your glove off. And you're going to use your sense of feel as you're moving along to make sure this is smooth. So close your eyes, go over this. Get a feel for the way it is now. And if you can feel it, rule of thumb, you're going to see it. Either when it's resprayed or you wrap it again. I'm not going to go crazy with the water because these discs aren't made for wet sanding. However, in this environment, I always want to keep the dust down. So what I'm going to do is just adjust this so I can get a mist out of it and keep dust controlled and right here on the surface or dripping down the side of the car, I don't care. But I do not want it airborne. So I'm just going to rub it in and get to work. Every once in a while, you just stop and run your hand along the areas you're sanding. Right here is smooth, right here you feel an edge. So if we respray or wrap that, that's going to be fine. Right here you would see that edge. So we need to work there, we need to work here, we need to work these areas. Every once in a while you're going to have to change your sanding discs so the discs wear down quickly. We're going to stop, wipe it down, and then just close your eyes and go over the area. And not perfect, but 95.3268% better. So we can either respray that in primer and then black and then clear, or maybe use a single stage, or more than likely, I'm going to wrap it with a gloss black. Take you guys in. Some of these areas could show, and they might. We're not looking for perfection, just huge improvement. And now you understand why we're doing these areas first. You can see the mess that it makes, and we'll have to give it another wash. Okay, next. Well, we have some dull areas. We have one right there in the front bumper. This is really bad here, no reflection. All the way back to here, curving down around. And this is going to be really bad here. And then some areas there. Gas cap and mirror on this side. No reflection. So let's do this and the gas cap next. Then we'll jump over to the worst area over there. Let's get a little success under our belt and bring out some gloss. We're going to just do a little bit of light color sanding, polish out from there. We're going to do 3000 grit. Okay, a little bit of color sanding it is, and that's also going to take care of the topical, well, abrasions or scratches or whatever got against this. Guys, don't be afraid to do wet sanding. It's going to be the safest route when it comes to correcting battered clear coat, oxidized clear coat. It'll shave it without spiking the temperatures on the surface, and 3000 grit is easily polished out with a fine polish and a non-aggressive pad, really. So we just, again, missed it, so when we're sanding we keep the dust to a minimum. You don't want it to get airborne. And what I'm doing is I'm going and sanding until I see this white milky substance on the surface. And that, my friends, is clear coat. You are shaving clear coat. Or in this case, dead paint molecules damaged from the sun's harmful rays. Okay, that should do it. Wipe off the residue. We have one area right here that is through the clear coat into the plastic. Those there will disappear completely after the polishing process. And we'll just use 50/50 pad with a light polish. Wipe off the residue. And double check and see if we need to go over it one more time with the polish to remove the sand marks. But we have reflection once again. So, big difference. We have a nice crisp reflection compared to what we had before, which was what we have right here, no reflection. So that is good news. It's a good sign, puts you in a good mood for the rest of the correction. Let's hop over here and take care of the gas cap while we're at it. And then the driver's side's really bad, but let's take care of the cap here first, the lid. Same process with the gas cap. Can you take a polisher and get rid of this without the wet sanding step? Yes, but you're going to be spiking temperatures way too high, going back and forth repeatedly, and it's just so much faster to shave that damage with the 2,000 or 3,000 grit or 2,500. I normally don't drop below 2,000. It gets a little bit harder to polish out from there, but guys, wet sanding is the way to go. If you're a little uncomfortable, pick up a scrap hood or a panel from a car from any body shop. Guys, they are more than happy to get rid of them, so then they don't. When they see the shop car coming or the pickup truck, and they see Apex Detail coming, they're happy because they know they're going to be light a few panels by the time I leave, and then they don't have to worry about it. Pick the panels up, get some horses from Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's, set them up on the horses, the saw horses, and practice. The rotary, wet sanding. So this right here, what I've been polishing is the clear coat. So I'll stop at that point. Wipe off the residue. And this is what it looks like at this point. You can actually see the oxidation's gone. We're down to some nice, smooth clear coat, maybe a little bit of staining right here, but that should polish out. Let's move on to the next step. I'm going to stay with the Eurofiber pad. The clear coat on this vehicle is between medium and hard. So I'm going to say it's leaning more towards hard and stubborn. If this was soft clear, we would just adjust this pad to a non-aggressive foam pad, medium or light polish. Ideally, if you have different size polishers, a 2 or 3 inch would be great. But you don't need it. You don't have to have 26 polishers in your arsenal. Okay, so as we come in close, we can see with the shop light, nice reflection. We're getting a little light on clear coat here. This is a great example of what the sun can do if you do not protect your car. For me, it's going to be PPF and coatings, or at least a sealant once a year. That's completely up to you, but this is a great example as to what happens, leaving the car sit outside with no protection. But we do have nice reflection again. And in the mirror, that turned out really nice. Deep gash here, that's all the way through into the plastic. So some touch up right there. Let's move on. We're going to go to the other side here. We're going to get a little bit more aggressive in these areas. We'll be there for quite some time with 3,000 grit, so we'll step down to 2,000 grit and then come all the way up through here. We'll tape off these areas first, polish them out and see what we have. I'm going to guess from here to here will turn out nice. We'll be a little bit thin when it comes to, sorry about that, clear coat up here. And right here, but we can blend a little bit of black in there. 2,000 grit this time, and even with 2,000 grit, it's not very difficult to polish out from there. And it doesn't take long before you see the dead paint coming off of here. That's clear coat. Okay, let me wipe that down. From here, we'll polish this down to there and see what we're left with. So before we polish, I just wanted to show you, this is kind of what it looks like at this stage, scuffed up with the oxidation removed and shaved off of there. And all you do is polish until your little heart is content. Polish until you see little happy trees and little happy clouds. We don't make mistakes, we make happy little accidents, right? All right, let's get to it. Wipe off some residue. Oh yeah. You can already see it, can't you? So this is where we're at. Unbelievably, we have reflection again. And take a look at this, guys. This plastic, we're going to give this a little bit of a go with some wet sanding and polishing as well. We went from this to that. Anyway, as you can see here, using the shop light, this paint's going to turn out nice. I mean, there's a couple areas where there are some scratches and gouges through, and then, I don't know if you can catch that, but it's really getting thin there. You don't want to go any further. 9 times out of 10, or 8 times out of 10.5.2, nobody's going to see that. So we're going to tackle this next. Guys, let me know down in the comments section if you've ever had anything like this or worked on anything where it's heavily oxidized, not a lot of paint left. What did you do? What type of car was it? Clickety-clack down in the comment section and let us know. Clickety-clack? What's this guy using an old typewriter? Get with the times, old man. This guy's weird. Anyway, we're gonna work on this ledge down here, and this is even thinner than we had up there. I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting an area we may need to blend a little bit of color into the panel and go from there. A little bit more aggressive this round, but the method will be the same. A lot of detailers or to add body shop guys to the mix, they would probably be using an air-powered sander. I like to do it by hand. I think it does a nice even job shaving down clear coat without being quite so aggressive. But if you really want to cut to the chase, if you are up against the wall when it comes to a timeline, you can machine it as well. Very effective. They have some machines that feed water or mist water into the mix and keep the dust down that way as well. In this particular area, as you can see here, we really had to dig deep to remove that oxidation. It's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing, we're getting down to paint. The bad thing, it's already thin in this area, so we can expose some of that color coat underneath and maybe even primer in areas. Flush the area. You can use a rinseless wash or water. Either one will work. That way you can see where you stand. Do you need to shave a little bit more off or proceed to the polishing stage? I grabbed yet another polisher. This is the cordless DeWalt. Some of these machines I'll be using today bought or found locally. Some have to be ordered. Some are affordable and economical. Some are pricey, but I wanted to show you either will work. They both will work. I believe I have the Sonax cut and finish on my 50/50 pad, Eurofiber pad. They can be found on Amazon. I'm not going to put links for products or tools because I'm going to show that many or any would work. It's not about the product. It's not about the protection or the coating. I'm not going to show the coating and protection process. It's not about that. It's about restoring paint. It's about paint alone. At the end, by the way, I'm going to show the final result before any cherry on top or finishing step. So before the paint chip or scratch fill or touch up, before protection, before tire shine or windows or anything is finished off to really give it that restored look. I'm going to pull it outside so we can take a look at it raw. And this is where we stand at this point. We have some progress. We can see gloss in areas. Back here where it was really thin, we will have to, we're going to give Clear Coat Restore a try. And if that doesn't work, we'll just blend it in. I do want to move on now to other types of imperfections or damage that can happen to single stage or clear coat. And here we have scratches probably from a car cover, the wind flapping it up and down repeatedly, and it pretty much goes the entire length of the vehicle from the door back through the quarter panel. Let's remove those. I'll show you another method that is quick and effective and safe on paint. That's going to be using the rotary polisher and a wool pad. The rotary polisher is just as effective, or in some cases more effective, cutting and finishing than any dual action or orbital polisher. It does run cooler when you are using a wool pad or have a wool pad attached. The air flows between the fibers of the wool. There's not a ton of pressure. There's some space between the meat or the base of the pad and the surface of the vehicle, so air can flow and keep the area cool as you're working on it. And it does cut rather quickly. It's a little bit more dirty as fibers from the wool pads and the correction fluids dry out quicker because of that airflow, and there's a little bit of dusting to take into consideration. You'll see now that those scratches are pretty much removed. There may be a trace of one or two here and there that have been too deep to go after. And at this point, when you're using the rotary and a wool pad, you will have to finish down, especially on softer clear coat, with a finishing pad and polish of your choice. It was very effective and also quick. The rotary makes quick work of imperfections or damage that is, not through the clear coat, but deep. So let's continue on. We have some areas on the door as well. You'll notice once I have the polish spread out a little bit, the movements with my arms and the polisher in my hands nice and smooth and fluid, not thrashing the polisher back and forth. We're not doing any plowing here. We're trying to get a nice even cut from this aggressive tool. Couldn't help myself, was enjoying the progress, so I continued on, and I now have the driver's side completely cut and the imperfections removed, and we're seeing some nice improvement. Improvement is the key word. We're not expecting perfection. Well, there's no such thing to begin with, and I never chase it. But we are looking for huge improvement for this customer. This car is already spoken for. We are actually on a timeline. It's going to be bought for a sibling, and we have a certain amount of time to get it done for a surprise gift. And the holidays are coming up quickly, so we need to get this done. Something a little different. Brian is about to wrap the rear wing, the active spoiler here, so I wanted to take some time and get footage for you. Much better and a little bit quicker than respraying, because of course we would have to wait for that to dry, and you get overspray here and there and throughout the shop. So we just need to let the edges dry, then we can trim them and wrap them around and complete the wrap of the wing. The next thing I want to address is over on the passenger side. That's this long scratch, and it doesn't look really through the color coat. It may be through the clear. Somebody just dumped a lot of touch-up paint over the scratch, and that looks hideous. So we're going to remove this. I just have a little bit of paint thinner on here. We're going to clean that touch-up paint off, and then at the same time we'll clean out the valley of the scratch. We'll do a little bit of color sanding and then polish it out. So two things at once. How many of you guys are tired of seeing Travis Kelce of the Chiefs in every single commercial while you're trying to watch football? And then add on top of that the cutaway shots of Taylor Swift up in the box. I am. Okay, so that cleaned it up pretty well. There was a lot on there. A little bit of some residue on there yet, but the wet sanding process, it's deep here to here. It's not through into the panel, it's just down through the clear coat. So we'll improve that. Handy dandy 2000 grit. Scratch starts here, runs all the way up to there. All we're doing is rounding things out. If you look at the scratch and the valley of the scratch microscopically, it would look like stalactites in this cave, crystal cave. And when the light shines down and refracts off of all of those jagged edges, well, it just makes the scratch look even more hideous than it already is. By rounding things off, we're reducing all of the light refracting back into our eyes, and it'll make it look a little bit better. It'll still be there, but a little bit less conspicuous. I think we're gonna stop right there, maybe a little bit right here yet. Then we'll grab the polisher, polish it out. Come back in with the old rotary, one of my favorite tools for polishing. Highly recommend, if you don't have one, to add it to your arsenal. You'll be very happy with it. It's fun to use and very effective in both cutting and finishing if you have the right pads. Wipe off the residue. So, is it there? Yes. A little bit less hideous than before? Absolutely. Turned it from a 6-footer into a 2-footer. A little bit better. Okay, let's move on. One other area I'd like to cover and show you how I go about it. And we'll move up to, let's see here. Let's take care of this rear quarter panel. All right, the biggest issue with the rear quarter panel here, very dull, tons of love marks and swirls, and a little bit of oxidation. And we'll just clean that up with a microfiber cutting pad, or the Eurofiber 50/50 pad, and a cutting compound. Give it a shot. We use Cutmax cutting compound from Sonax, Eurofiber 50/50 pad, and we'll do a section here and see if we can clear some of that up. We'll wipe off the residue. So a huge difference, we just need to step down to a finishing polish. So let's do that really quick and we'll see the difference between the two sides. Let's clean things up with the cut and finish and just a light foam pad here. See what it looks like. See if that's the combination that I'm going to keep, not only to do this section, but finish now the rest of the vehicle. The only thing we need to work on are some of the areas on, just small areas where the clear coat's peeling, and we're going to smooth things out and use a clear coat restorer just to see how that looks. Boy, that pad is absolutely falling apart. That one is going in the dumpster. Okay. Night and day, and that's pretty much what I'm going to use to go around the vehicle to clean the rest of the paint up. Well, we just talked about these areas. These are the areas right here where the clear coat has separated from the color coat. That happens, sun damage, and also improper preparation when they sprayed. We're going to smooth this out a little bit here and use the Optimum Clear Coat Restorer. The old trusty P800. And again, by feel. Close your eyes if you have to, that way your senses will be concentrated to your hands, and if you feel it, you're going to see it. So sand until it's nice and smooth. Okay, that should do it. Some over here as well. Should do it. Before we go ahead and do a respray this area, let's just see, Turtle Wax has a version as well of a clear coat restorer, mainly for when you have scratches, but let's see how it works just for fun in areas like this. Well, it looks a little bit better. We'll let that cure and we'll see what it looks like. In the meantime, we'll move on to some other problem areas and finish up the correction. But before we do, the wing has dried out enough at the edges that we can trim and wrap the edges around. And we're going to give the clear coat restorer or filler time to cure. I can already see I'm going to need to respray those areas to get it done right, at least to get it to the point where I would be satisfied anyway. So let's continue on and finish up the wing. And there we go. The wing is finished. Brian did a fantastic job. Certainly looks a little bit better than where we found it. And we can move on to the next chore. So I bit the bullet and went ahead and resprayed the areas. I do not do that in this shop, so I quick as time strains are really getting constricted. Pulled the car over, resprayed, brought it back over. I do have to do a little bit of blending with sanding, wet sanding, polish out. But what I want to do is show you what we have so far and then finish up on the correction. I have a little bit of light correction to do on the passenger side front. And we're just about finished with this job, and we should have it done on time to be delivered. And with that little bit of surface area finished, the major part of the correction that I wanted to show you is complete. And we can take a deep breath. It's been quite a long road so far. Maybe crack open a cold snack and enjoy our work. And let me show it to you. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. We have nice reflection, once again, in areas where some would think it would be unavailable. And others, the clear coat has been repaired, the spoilers repaired, the headlights, you can now get some light shining out of them. Taillights are polished as well. I'm also going to pull it outside. The inside makes it a little hard to see some of the areas. Perfection, not even close. Just wanted to make it look a little bit better for where it's going and who it's going to. We still need to fill in rock chips and scratches with some touch-up paint. We're going to clean up the rims, tire shine, We're going to do windows, the interior. We're going to add protection. That's not the point of these videos. The point of videos is showing you how to get to this point. I hope you have enjoyed. If you're not part of the Apex family, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let us know down in the comments section if you are new. This has been Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.